In 1917, two young British soldiers were assigned with a critical mission, to hand-deliver message to 1,600 men of the 2nd Battalion by the Army General, warning them to cancel the planned attack on the German army. Lance Corporal Tom Blake and Lance Corporal Will Schofield were taking a nap beneath a tree which they were called to bring their kits to camp by General Aranmore. General trusted them with critical mission, to deliver message to the 1,600 men of the 2nd Battalion of the Devonshire Regiment, who are marching into a trap. The message is to call off the planned attack on the German army. The general told them to say to them that the Germans have simulated retreat to the heavily fortified Hindenburgen line, 3 miles deep with artillery and defense, so they should call off the planned attack. Blake's brother, Lieutenant Joseph Blake, was part of the 1,600 men. The general told them to deliver the message in person, since the phone lines are cut off. Schofield told Blake they should wait till evening before they leave the camp. He told him the journey is going to take 8 hours and they are walking 9 miles away from the camp, but Blake insisted. He was desperate to leave immediately because of his brother. They went to Lieutenant Leslie, who was in charge of the trench. They gave him a letter from General Aranmore, which commands him to let Blake and Schofield cross to the no man's land. Lieutenant Leslie told them their mission is dangerous but show them the safest route across the no man's land. They climb the ladder and walk across the treacherous landscape. Schofield injured his hand on a barbed wire when he pulled it for Blake to walk through. As they were traveling across the no man's land, they nearly spotted by 2 German planes, but they pretended to be dead and the planes left. They got to the Germans' camp and it was abandoned. They found an underground barracks with empty soldiers' bunks. Schofield found a dog food and threw it to Blake. At that moment, the underground exploded when a rat triggered a tripwire on the ground. Luckily, the explosion missed them, but Schofield was covered by rocks and Blake saved him. They escaped before the underground collapsed. Outside the collapse underground, Schofield asked Blake why he chose him. Blake told him he didn't know what he was picked for, and thought the mission is going to be easy. He asked Schofield to go back if he can carry on with the mission. But he insisted, and he told him they are friends so he can't leave him alone to move on. Blake shots flare into the sky, alerting their soldiers that they have safely crossed the German camp, and they proceed with the mission assigned to them. They reach an abandoned farmhouse, and search the house food and supplies. Schofield found a bucket full of fresh milk. He filled his water flask. At that moment, they saw a German plane engaged in a dogfight, which it shot down by 2 British planes. The plane crashed into the farmhouse, which nearly crashed Blake and Schofield, but they escape it. They rush and rescue the German pilot from the fire. Blake told Schofield to get him water, but as he turned his back, the pilot run through Blake and Schofield fire at him in retaliation. Thereupon, Blake eyes closed slowly, and Schofield comforted him. He promised him that he will complete the mission and also write to his mother about how brave he was. Schofield heartily removed Blake's rings and dog tag. As he was kneeling beside him, Captain Smith and his units approached him. He asked him of his mission. He told him his is going to deliver message to the 1,600 men of the 2nd Battalion, to call off the attack. Captain Smith told him that Lieutenant Mackenzie, who's in charge of the 2nd Battalion, may not call off the attack, despite receiving orders. Captain Smith offered him ride to the village of Ecoust-Saint-Maine. The captain asked some of his men to accompany him, but he insisted. He told him he will go alone, and they parted ways. As he was crossing a destroyed canal bridge near Ecoust-Saint-Maine, a sniper fired at him and he missed. He exchanged shots with the sniper. He carefully entered the tower where the sniper was hiding. Schofield and the sniper fire at each other simultaneously. The bullet struck Schofield's helmet and knocked him unconsciously. He regained consciousness in the evening. He saw the German soldiers have taken over the village ruins and has light flares in the village. Schofield runs trying to find his way out. He did any means to avoid being detected by the Germans, but one of them saw him. He fired at him while chasing him. Luckily, the bullets missed and he escaped. He entered one of the buildings. There, he met a French lady and her child hiding. She mistook him as of the Germans, but he calms her down and told her he is not a German. Though they didn't understood each other's language, they managed to talk to each other in every means. The lady asked him of the rest of his friends and he told her he's alone and has been sent to deliver message to other soldiers in Southeast. Her child cried, but she has no food. Schofield gave her his food and milk he took from the farmhouse. In that instant, he realized time is running out, and he must keep going. The lady asked him to stay because it's morning and the Germans will see him, but he insisted and he left. As he traveled through the village ruins, trying not to be seen by the Germans. After he confronted 2 German soldiers, and the rest was alerted of his presence. They fire at him as he was running. Luckily, he escaped by jumping into a river which swept him away and carried him over a waterfall. He swam to the riverbanks. He wept deeply and imagined how he made it out through the German soldiers. He tiredly moved on. As he traveled through the woods, he heard a song and he tracked it. He met the 2nd Battalion, only to find out that the attack has already begun. He pushed through the infantries and seek for Colonel Mackenzie and Lieutenant Joseph Blake, which he was told that Colonel Mackenzie is at front line and Blake's brother is part of the first wave of soldiers who charged for the first attack. Schofield sprint across the open battlefield as the infantry's 2 charged. He reached the front line, but 2 soldiers held him. He managed and entered where Colonel Mackenzie is. Mackenzie asked him to state his mission and he replied, he has a message from Army Commander, that he should call of the attack. He explained to him that the Germans have simulated retreat to the heavily fortified Hindenburgen line, 3 miles deep with artillery and defense. Primarily, he didn't want to cancel the attack, but he reluctantly called it off and told Schofield to leave his side. An officer appreciated his effort, and he searched for Blake's brother and found him injured and alive. He tells Lieutenant Joseph Blake of his mission and his brother's death. He took out Blake's rings and dog tag and gave it to him. Joseph, heartbreak over the loss of his brother, he expressed his gratitude to Schofield for his efforts. Schofield then asked if he can write to their mother about Tom Blake's bravery, to which Joseph agreed. Overtired, Schofield sat beneath a nearby tree and looked at his family photos, written on the back of one, "Come back to us." The movie ends. Please kindly hit the subscribe button if you enjoyed it. Thank you.